That's right, and you can expect a boring football movie to boot. And it stars, among other non-talent actors, Dick Butkus. Butkus.
Butkus. Butkus. Butkus. Butkus. Butkus.
This time we watched KTMA episode 15, Superdome.
Are you ready for some football?
I will never be ready for some football. But first, before we football, have we got any follow-up for our listeners, Chris?
We do. And also we have a celebration because although this is very late for very reasons, this is technically our Donald Pleasence Day episode.
Oh, everyone, happy Donald Pleasence Day.
Happy Donald Pleasence Day. We celebrate Donald Pleasence's birthday, which is October 5th every year. And we used to try to get the episodes out on time, but we didn't quite this time. But did you do anything special for Donald Pleasence Day?
I did a few things for Donald Pleasence Day. My favorite, the first thing I did for Donald Pleasence Day is I watched one of my favorite Columbo episode, Any Old Port in a Storm.
Which I believe was one of Peter Falk's favorite Columbo episodes.
I mean, I can see why. Donald Pleasence is pretty much the best, right?
All right, that's one thing you did?
One thing. The second thing I did, which I've never done before, I watched Halloween.
Oh, yes. That's coming to a theater nearby me, and they're showing it, I believe, on October 31st for some reason. So I might actually go see it. Is it going to be too scary for me?
It's not going to be too gruesome for you, which I know that horror movies that are like super gory are not your bag, but I do actually find it really scary. So, okay. But not scary in the like, oh my God, I have to look away. That's so gross. It's more like scary. Number one, the John Carpenter music is freaking haunting. And like the killer does not speak. So in the whole movie, he is just menacing. Like the very beginning of the movie, through much of the movie, he's just standing there menacingly in a mask with a jumpsuit on, which, like if you put a mask on Joel, it's not going to be menacing because all of that loving love just shows through, but not for Michael. Oh, it's really creepy. And Donald Pleasence is, he's the guy who's his psychiatrist who's like, he's just evil. Like that's the professional diagnosis.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
I'm sorry, officer, but evils come to your town. Yes, that's my professional diagnosis as his psychiatrist. I've been working with him for years.
After Halloween, for their Late Show, they're going to be showing Frankenhooker, which is not a film I ever thought I'd have the chance to see in a theater. So,
look at you, though. What a wonderful world.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
You must stay, Chris. You must stay and let us know what it was like seeing it in a theater. But that was not all I did for Donald Pleasence Day. Oh, no. I have a third way I celebrated Donald Pleasence Day.
What was that?
I watched a movie from the 1970s called Dracula.
Okay. Does he play Dracula?
He indeed does not play Dracula.
That makes sense.
So for those people who know the story of Dracula, this is not based on the Bram Stoker book.
What?
It's based on the play that was based on the book, but it changes a whole bunch of things around. Donald Pleasence plays the psychiatrist. He plays a really good psychiatrist. He plays the psychiatrist who's in charge of the asylum that's really close to Carfax Abbey where Dracula lives. But he's not a suitor of Lucy. He's actually Lucy's dad.
Oh.
Yeah, so it changes a whole bunch of things around, but Donald Pleasence is, a phenomenal psychiatrist and head of the insane asylum there. And anyway, he was lots of fun. And so those were my 3 ways to celebrate Donald Pleasence Day.
Well, that's fantastic. Also, we should say that it is that time of the year again. Our friends over at the podcast Hubris Ween are back at it, where in the lead up to Halloween, they do a daily mini podcast about an October appropriate movie, let's say, one for each letter of the alphabet. And in this year's alphabet, there are 2 MST3K related movies being done. They've covered both the giant Gila monster and the killer shrews.
It's so great, Chris. I love Hubrisween. I look forward to it every single year. And it was so wonderful to hear them talk about the killer shrews. Their favorite part, by the way, well, okay, so it's not their favorite part, but it's also their favorite part, was the dogs in costumes as killer shrews.
Well, yes, of course. Everybody's favorite part is so the dogs in costume. So we will have links in the show note for that, or just search on your podcast app of choice. But go check it out. Give them some love. It's good, and they're short. 10-minute long episodes. It's all good. All right. Well, we should hunker down and huddle up and plan our tackles and something about pig skins or something, and those the little iron, what are they called? The gridirons? Is that the thing that they put up with the little hands in the air at each end of the field? They're really cute.
The field goal, it's the place where you make it field goal. I don't know.
Yeah, that place. Let's learn about football or something. This time we watched KTMA episode 15, Superdome. Football. It's 1978 and just a few days away from Super Bowl 12. The Cougars and the Rangers are flying into New Orleans. Narleans. I don't know how you want it to be pronounced these days. Anyway, in real life, it was the Cowboys versus the Broncos, but this is fiction, and everybody's getting very excited for the big game. This is one of those movies that has like 1 million characters and subplots, but here's the basic idea. The Cougars are heavily favored to win the Super Bowl. But there's a syndicate in New York that has decided to bet a lot of money on the Rangers. So they want to make sure the Cougars lose. And they send a few agents along to, make sure they lose, if you know what I mean. The most effective agent they send along is a woman named Lainey, played by Donna Mills. She poses as a reporter, and she seduces the general manager of the Cougars, Mike Shelley, played by David Janssen, in order to get some behind-the-scenes access. And then she just straight up murders a bunch of guys. One of the guys she tries to murder is up-and-coming Cougars quarterback Jim McCauley, played by Tom Selleck. Instead of just shooting him, though, she sort of miswires the hot tub, the electric whirlpool in the locker room, so that it'll provide a lethal dose of electricity, apparently just hoping he'll be the first to use it. Anyway, our plucky murderess gets caught just in time and reveals the plan, and Tom Selleck is saved. There's a lot more. There's one player who has a bad knee and he's been neglecting his wife. There's an agent who's trying to recruit Tom Selleck. There's a retired player working for the syndicate who collaborates with his girlfriend to drug Tom Selleck and fails. There's another player who's briefly in jail for a murder charge that he's not guilty of. Blah, blah, blah. It's all a bunch of noise. You're just here to watch the football, right? Well, the movie ends at the kickoff. No actual balls were footed in the making of this movie. The end.
Meanwhile, on the Satellite of Love, in heavy contrast to the hyper-masculine football movie, we have a Golden Girls-style flashback episode on our beloved satellite. While we, the viewers, all gather around the table with some cheesecake, Tom is at his typewriter remembering the good old times. Like when he almost convinced the Mads that bringing down the Satellite of Love to Earth was the best way to further the experiment. Added bonus, Tom's bevy of babes would be there too, and you know how the Mads love bevies of babes. Unfortunately, Crow messes everything up by interrupting with a bunch of wisecracks about Dr. Forrester and Dr. Earhart, and they decide not to bring the crew to Earth. Or what about that time that Joel hooked Tom up to a high-voltage generator so he could teach him what pain feels like? Crow, of course, took advantage of the situation and shocked Tom with big volts, defined as a pain level equivalent to watching the Arsenio Hall show, which, hey, remember that show? Oh, wait, actually, that might be a flashback too far. Let's get back to the cheesecake. Then there was that time that Joel was a mean-ass, demanding manager, smoking and yelling at the bots for not cleaning up after themselves. But, I mean, he was just embodying Tom's perception of him at the time, so Joel's still lovable and easygoing, okay? My favorite part of the flashback is the descent into famous movie quotes by all the bots. I mean, this could be the start of what flashback sequence would be complete without a montage of the good times? Yes, Tom's flashback includes a series of Joel, the bots, and even the Mads laughing and loving and I guess also living while poignant music plays over the heartwarming scenes. All that cheesecake and flashbacking must have worn old Tom out because he's in sickbay while Joel and Crow wrap up the show with some letters and a detailed explanation about the fan club and how writing in will get you all this cool stuff. Funny, they don't really revisit this idea again during the Comedy Central era, huh, Chris? What do you think, sirs?
It's true. I wish they had explained the fan club more in later seasons. But what are you going to do? They didn't. And so it was a little bit of a mystery and a surprise.
Surprise!
Well, did you enjoy revisiting that one sketch about Tom Servo trying to feel pain? That is the only actual flashback from the episode we did last Donald Pleasence Day, SST Death Flight.
I was wondering when it was because that was the only one of the flashbacks that I was like, oh yeah, I've totally seen this one before. But I assumed that we'd either see the other flashbacks in the future, which of course, what is time? But yeah, it was fine. I mean, it was fine when I saw it the first time. I don't understand why bots want to feel pain. It sort of seems like one of the main purposes of being a bot, not a human. But, whatever.
Yeah, it must be a sex thing. After all, we are still in Tom Servo's slut era, I guess.
I guess. What is up with him always talking about a bevy of babes? There aren't any humans on the satellite of love except for Joel. And if he's talking about all the major appliances that he hits on, half of them end up being Mr. Coffee. So
yeah, and there's a few moments of sort of no homo jokes being made where
sure.
Joel's like, your come-ons aren't going to work on me, on guys. But whatever. They'd get a little bit more chill about that. There'd be some smooches later down the road, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we've talked about this before. It's not so bad in this episode, but the idea that like Tom Servo's major personality was going to be homina all the time. It's just a weird choice that didn't work, and I'm glad that finally went away.
Yeah, that was a good transition into a different personality, I gotta say.
Otherwise, what did we think of the episode in general and the movie?
The episode in general, fun. It's okay. It's fun. The movie, so freaking confusing. I don't know. Maybe like large 70s, like extravaganzas with too many plot lines and bad prints is not for me. I don't know. I kept getting lost into, like who belonged with which storyline. And did you have more success with it, Chris?
I didn't, but I do think it's one of those episodes that gets better if you start understanding what's going on. Because I spent a little while really trying to figure out what the heck the plot was and who everybody is. Mm-hmm. And when I went back to rewatch it, having done some of that work, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I know who this is. Okay, I see what's happening now. And that, made the overall experience a bit better,
because the movie was more tolerable, right?
Because the movie was less confusing and off-putting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, we love a bunch of stars in a movie. We love seeing all the people coming back. We love a football movie that doesn't have any football in it. That's also
That was very exciting. I did appreciate the lack of football inside of my football movie. I did wish that they had made New Orleans look attractive. Like, I don't understand how they did this, but New Orleans looks like the ugliest city ever inside of this movie. Just the way they shot it, the places that they showed were just like bleak industrial landscapes or something. It does not show off how beautiful I think New Orleans is based on other presentations of the city that I've seen.
Well, you'll be happy to know that the director of this film also directed another beloved MST3K movie. He did It Lives by Night, a.k.a. The Bat People.
Okay.
Which also looks atrocious. So.
That just makes it so much harder to follow the plot. I think, when you have a movie that takes place in the 70s and other than your stars, like everybody looks so similar, it's really hard to follow the plot and figure out what belongs with everything. And I definitely suffered from that. I mean, this is an episode that has Michael Pataki in it, right? Like our favorite JC from the wonderful Biker Film Fest.
And also from the Bat movie.
Yes. So he shows up pretty early on. He doesn't really interact with everybody until he gets shot in a stairwell. I had no idea who he was related to the plot. There's like one throwaway line that I heard about him in a rewatch, where one of the other characters is just like, oh yeah, there was some guy. He was like an undercover guy from the League here to like try and ferret out corruption. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's what Michael Pataki was doing here. But, and IMDb tells me his name was Tony, but it's not like anybody called him by name.
In that line, they do call him Tony. But it's real subtle and real quick, and they probably talk over it in one of the riffs. So very easy to miss that. But yeah, one of the weird things about this movie is that you sort of know it's going to be, oh no, something bad is going to happen at the Super Bowl. And the movie wants you to think that it's Michael Pataki's character who's going to be the big villain.
Sure, because he's such a peeper. He's like watching everybody from the hotel across the street through his, rear window spy glasses.
Right. And he doesn't say anything, and the music's all tense whenever he's on the screen. And you got like, they're making all the obvious directorial choices. But then he gets shot, and it's like, what happened? And it turns out he was one of the good guys. He was part of the security detail from the League or something. And he was shot by the actual bad guy, who is so far been posing as a journalist, because the actual bad guy in this movie is a lady.
What? Yeah, and it's not the lady who you see in the stairwell, because the first time I watched this through, I was like, okay, there's the guy in the stairwell. I thought he was the bad guy. And then there's a stewardess who kind of like hooked up with Tom Selleck, and she's walking through the stairwell and she screams. And I'm like, is she screaming because he's dying, or is she screaming because he's killing her? And then later on in the movie, they talk about the stewardess being dead, but I missed the part where they talked about the guy being dead in the stairwell. And I'm like, what happened to that character? Did he just disappear? And, I had to rewatch it in order to figure out what was happening. And that's never a good sign for a movie, where you have to watch it multiple times to figure out the plot.
Some people like that sort of thing, but it doesn't work for a made-for-TV movie that's airing once.
Sure, about football. How many people who watch football movies want subtlety? I'm making a broad generalization. That's not fair. I need to take that back. I'm sorry.
The movie was, of course, shown on ABC 1 week before the Super Bowl as a way to get people excited about the Super Bowl.
I mean, it would have made them pretty excited about murder, but I'm not sure that this actually helps you to be hyped up for the Super Bowl. Was it, in fact, the Super Bowl that took place at the Superdome?
It did take place at the Superdome, yes. And also, like, in the movie, they make football appear like they really emphasize how football, like, some people like this sport, but most people care about the gambling.
And how much money people make around it in the town where the Super Bowl happened. It's almost like this was an advertisement to other cities to be like, don't you want the Super Bowl to happen where you are? Everybody makes so much money. They're
just celebrating this level of corruption. I don't know. The movie's very sort of, happy about it in a sense. It's like, yeah, this is the fun part. Everybody comes to town and there's going to be a game, but they're playing their own game. And isn't that cool? And it's like, okay. I don't think the NFL would pitch a movie that way now.
No, probably not. They also probably wouldn't pitch a movie where it's like, you know what we should do in order to throw the game? Let's kill everyone who's ever had a conversation with a football player. That's how you throw a game. And it's like, no.
But we should start talking about all these people, because this is a familiar faces fiesta of a movie. So let's head over to the familiar faces corner.
Familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces, familiar faces.
So, ever since we ran out of Donald Pleasence movies to for Donald Pleasence Day, we've started looking at these 70s star-studded nonsense movies, mostly done in the KTMA era, because somebody in the cast is going to have been in something with the great Donald Pleasence.
Obviously, because Donald Pleasence was amazing and everybody wanted to work with him.
And in this movie, the most obvious candidate for having worked with Donald Pleasence is David Janssen.
David Janssen. I'm doing my David Janssen impersonation. That's the weirdest thing.
Now, obviously, David Janssen, who's playing the Cougars general manager, Mike Shelley, is most famous for playing the NASA guy on Earth who's going to rescue the stranded astronauts in season 4's Marooned, aka Space Travelers.
Obviously.
That's what we all know him for. But turns out he was in a little TV show called The Fugitive.
See, now I never watched the TV show The Fugitive, but I did see like the movie with Harrison Ford from like the 80s.
93.
Oh God, the 80s and the 90s were like the same for me. I know everybody else thinks the 80s were different, but
I also didn't grow up watching The Fugitive, and nothing about it has really made me want to watch it. I just watched parodies of The Fugitive, which would come up occasionally in various 80s and 90s TV shows. But surprise, surprise, guess who was on an episode of The Fugitive?
Was it Donald Pleasence?
I mean, you tell me, you watched it.
I did. It was Donald Pleasence. You didn't watch this? You just sent it my way so that I could?
I found it and I watched 2 minutes of it and I sent it your way because I was bored. How was the episode?
Well, here's what you missed, Chris. Of course, the David Janssen fugitive character, he's looking for work and he ends up answering an ad to be a chauffeur. And it's a chauffeur for a violin prodigy who Donald Pleasence is the mentor and teacher of. And this young man, he's 17, he's about to turn 18. He appears to be bullied by Donald Pleasence, like really heinously off screen through doors and things like that, right? Like Donald Pleasence like injures his hand, which I'm going to tell you, if you're like trying to encourage a violin prodigy to get better and to perform and stuff, it seems like damaging his hand is a really bad idea. So it all seems a little off and a little weird. But it turns out the kid is actually the scheming bad guy who's trying to get Donald Pleasence killed or discredited. And he ends up tempting Donald Pleasence's character with booze because he has a history of alcoholism.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and gets it to look like Donald Pleasence is threatening him. But of course, David Janssen, the fugitive, has figured everything out and is back there to like tell the kid, you're not going to be able to do it. And now that I'm here, like, how are you going to spin this whole situation? You can't just kill Donald Pleasence and tell them you were defending yourself because now there's a second person. And you know, the kid's like, I'll tell the cops that he killed you and that I killed him to protect both of you. And he's like, yeah, that's not going to work because actually I'm the fugitive and I'm a wanted man. And they're going to think that Donald Pleasence was like a hero and you're still going to go down, kid. What? So,
oh, that's actually really clever.
Right?
Like, the fact that I'm a wanted man means that if you pin my murder on somebody else, that they're going to be the hero. That's really good. I don't know how often that happened in The Fugitive. I'm sure they went to that well more than once, but it's good.
And like, turns out Donald Pleasence doesn't have to be killed, and the kid is revealed as being naughty, naughty, naughty.
Wow. So was it worth watching? Do you recommend it to our Donald Pleasence obsessed fan base?
I mean, you get to see him in a tuxedo.
He looks good.
Mwah! He looks good.
Cinematographer loves him.
And he's so young in it. Like, everything that I've seen Donald Pleasence from is like from the 70s because that's what you make me watch. And some things from like the 80s maybe. But this is from, 10, 15, 20 years earlier. And he looks young. He's still bald, but he looks so good. And whatever. He's attractive bald. You got to have a thing for that. How could you not?
Well, it turns out that's not the only thing that David Janssen and Donald Pleasence were in together, because if you love made-for-TV movies from the 70s, not only is Superdome here for you, but we've got a massive miniseries that's got both of them in it.
Oh, Chris, you made me watch Centennial, but I don't know if I want to talk about it.
You don't have to talk about it at length. But yes, 1978 made-for-TV miniseries Centennial, based on the novel by James Michener, all about Colorado.
Donald Pleasence wasn't in the first episode, and you promised me he was going to be in the first episode. And I thought, whatever, maybe he just shows up in the second one. So I watched the second episode. He did not show up in the second episode. But by the end of the second episode, Raymond Burr was dead. And I'm like, what is happening? Donald Pleasence shows up in the third episode.
Yeah. Turns out you can't trust IMDb for everything.
He's a mountain man. It's pioneering times when people are going on the Oregon Trail. And that's where Donald Pleasence shows up. Not with a British accent.
Wait. It's Donald Pleasence playing a mountain guy in the Old West times. Is he a frontier psychiatrist?
Wouldn't it be great if he was? No.
Oh, well.
He's one of the guides that people hired to bring their, Conestoga wagon train across the plains and into the Rockies and then over the Rockies and to the coast. So that's who he is. He's the guy who's going to guide you through the territory that no one knows except for a handful of rugged mountain men individuals, right? And Donald Pleasence is one of them. He's got a really great nose prosthetic. He's got long hair.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like a wig?
Yeah. Chris, I don't know whether it was a wig or not. Maybe it's his natural hair and he is just going bald for the whole rest of his career just for shits and giggles. I don't know. But if that's his real hair, he should just go bald and embrace it, man, because it was awful. This is not a show that shows off the beauty of Donald Pleasence. In fact, this is the one thing I watched where he really was the bad guy.
Oh.
He's a rapist in this, Chris. Oh. It was horrible.
Oh.
I never want to watch Donald Pleasence doing that again.
All right. Well, fortunately, most people are not going to rush out from this and watch Centennial.
Yeah, no, don't.
Was David Janssen good?
David Janssen was the narrator in the first few episodes, so he sets the scene in the first couple of minutes of, the rugged pioneering spirit of the Americas. And
so he doesn't actually get a scene with Pleasence.
No.
All right. Well, that's David Janssen and by extension Donald Pleasence, but there are so many other people that we should talk about. Who do you want to talk about first?
I mean, Tom Selleck doesn't wear a shirt for 50% of the movie that he's in. So let's talk Tom Selleck and that hairy, gorgeous chest.
Okay. Yes. I did watch a bit of the unriffed version of the movie just to see a few missing scenes.
Does he wear less in the unriffed version?
No, but in the unriffed version, there is a scene early on where they're doing some practice, but they're basically wrapping up and they're heading back to the lockers. And it is established that Tom Selleck's character uses the electric whirlpool first.
Oh.
That this is a thing about him that people all know about. And when the coach says, make sure you're the first one to use it, he's like, we all know I'm the first one. I'm always the first one to use it. Come on. Of course I'm going to be the first to use it.
So at some point in time, somebody has to tell Laney, the reporter, that this is the case? Or is this well known beyond the team?
The movie may not have covered that entire path of knowledge, but it made it sound like it's such a well-known thing that you could have easily found out that he was going to be the first to use it. Because, of course, he is the target for everyone. He is the one that's going to win the game for them. If they take out McCauley, if they take out Tom Selleck, then the Cougars are going to lose.
Okay, so that makes sense why they're he just had sex with the stewardess, so we're going to take out the stewardess because it casts, a negative light on this quarterback that everybody is counting on. So that's why they're targeting people who are peripheral to the Tom Selleck quarterback character. That makes more sense now.
Yeah, although she also witnessed the other murder, so maybe Laney's just making sure there aren't any witnesses to her. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was, of course, Magnum PI.
Which I had to wait almost till the end of the movie to get a riff that called out his Magnum PI-ness. No, you can't do the obvious joke first. It's true.
I guess so. Magnum PI was one of those shows that was sort of on in the background that I guess my parents occasionally watched, but I didn't care about when I was a kid because, I don't know, it seemed kind of boring, though he seems nice enough in the movie. He's the only actor with any screen presence in this film.
Agreed. Although I thought that, Dick Butkus did a fine job.
Dick Butkus did a fine job, although it's a very small role. And we'll talk about him more in a second, I guess. Tom Selleck, is there any other Tom Selleck roles that you want to shout out?
I mean, he's in like Quigley Down Under or something like that. I don't know. Every year on Pie Day, somebody sends me the Magnum PI, where it's the mustache, but it's the swirly bit on the top of pie is the mustache of Magnum. So it's Magnum Pie. It's a delightful image.
No,
I get it every year. It's great.
That's good. Yes. In addition to being in Quigley Down Under, yes, he was also in 3 Men and a Baby and things like that.
Oh my gosh. I forgot about that.
You forgot about that? Yeah. He also played a cop in a show called Blue Bloods for 14 years, just ending last year. I never saw it. Yeah.
I've seen lots of episodes of that. Holy criminies!
Is it a show your dad watches or something?
No, it's probably a show that I've seen at your parents' place.
Oh yes, it could also be something that I don't feel like I've ever seen it, but it could totally be a thing that my dad sees. So what are you going to do?
Whatever. It's cop stuff.
He's stuff.
He's like the patriarch of a cop family, and Donnie Wahlberg is in it. It's a propaganda show. It's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's not as good as the Law and Order franchise, but it's fine.
Sure. Well, I want to talk about one role that I didn't realize he had until I was doing research, and then one role that he didn't have, which I suspect some of our listeners know, but you might not, so this could be fun. Because he was working on Magnum PI, and he had a certain schedule, and production companies being very possessive about these things, he wasn't allowed to film a role that he was cast as.
Oh. Okay.
So instead, Harrison Ford ultimately starred as Indiana Jones.
Oh my gosh. I did not know this. Tom Selleck could have been Indiana Jones?
He was cast, and then he had to turn the role down after he accepted it, basically, because he couldn't make the schedule work with the production company.
Oh my gosh.
Although, in retrospect, because there were delays in filming Magnum PI, he probably could have made it work. But, his attitude is like, well, I was on Magnum PI. I mean, that's pretty good. It hasn't really hurt my career to be on Magnum PI.
Honestly, Tom Selleck's done all right for himself. I mean, so is Harrison Ford.
I was also surprised to learn he did the voiceover for a series of commercials that we've talked about on this show that haunt me to this day from the 90s. They were commercials about the future of telephony.
Oh, no.
Have you ever thought about, doing this, that, or the other through your phone? And it ended with, you will. And the company that'll bring it to you? AT&T. And that was Tom Selleck doing the voiceover.
That was Tom Selleck?
I mean, now that I know, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is. But I had never put that together before. It never would have occurred to me to tap Tom Selleck for that role.
Well, yeah. I feel like I need to go back and listen to one of those, because even now I'm not placing it as Tom Selleck.
Hold on.
I hear you vigorously typing. You're sending me one, aren't you, so that I can listen to it?
It's this one. You hear this?
Yeah.
Have you ever borrowed a book?
Oh my God, it is.
From thousands of miles away?
Oh my God, of course it is.
Across the country?
Yeah.
Without stopping for directions?
And apparently Peter Gabriel doing
Or
Salisbury
some
Hill
of
in
the
the background.
Peter Gabriel and Tom Selleck, a match made in heaven.
You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
Just wild.
Seriously, I didn't believe you until you just played that clip. And then it's undeniable that it's Tom Selleck. How did I not hear it as Tom Selleck the very first time that I heard that commercial?
So yeah, that's my favorite Tom Selleck role. It's the one that has influenced my life the most. Good on him. Good read. There were a surprising number of people in this film who had long and storied careers on Broadway, which I wasn't fully expecting.
Nor I. Are we talking musical Broadway, or are we talking dramatic?
So Ken Howard, who plays Dave Walecki, the guy with the bad knee.
The one who might get divorced but then doesn't, him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they make a lot of jokes about the fact that he was a basketball coach on a TV show called The White Shadow back in the day.
I do not know this show.
Yeah, it's okay. I think we may have even talked about it before, but it's fine. It's totally fine. He was like a basketball coach for some inner city kids or something like that. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Because he also had done a lot of Broadway and won some Tony Awards, including for playing Thomas Jefferson in 1776, the musical.
Oh my gosh, that's phenomenal. I saw that.
Yeah, he's in the movie as well, I believe.
Oh, I never saw the movie, but I did see a production of 1776 where Brent Spiner was John Adams, and it was a little disconcerting that he was not in his Data makeup. It was really weird. I mean, he was great. He was great. I don't in any way want to disparage his performance, but it's one of those things where I couldn't divorce his face from the role of Data.
Well, that's because you didn't watch him on Night Court enough, I guess. But,
apparently not.
I believe that's the late 90s revival of it rather than the 60s version, which I'm pretty sure you didn't see, but that's the one that Ken Howard was in.
You are very correct about all of that.
Ken Howard also was on Bonanza.
That's so wonderful.
Where he played Mark Twain.
I would have given that role to Tom Selleck myself, but that's all right. It's the mustache.
Fair enough. You look at Ken Howard in this film and you're like, no, he's not Thomas Jefferson or Mark Twain.
No.
First off, why would you get the same actor to play those two characters? They look nothing alike.
Yeah, but no, you don't have to actually get somebody who looks like Thomas Jefferson to play Thomas Jefferson. And you don't have to get somebody who, looks like Mark Twain to play Mark Twain.
Yeah. In 1980, he starred in a TV movie called Father Damien because the original actor who was plucked for that role died just a few days into production.
Oh, my.
And that actor's name was David Janssen.
Oh, no.
I mean, spoiler, most of the actors in this film are dead, but that one...
Sorry.
It's a 50-year-old movie, basically.
Yeah, no, it is very true. It just, might have been a little harsh the way you said it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I didn't want you to get disappointed again and again.
No, I can't keep gasping every time somebody dies. It just doesn't work that way. Oh my goodness, but that must have been really difficult because obviously he knew David Janssen from having been in this movie. Though I can't say that I can think of a scene that they were actually both in at the same time, so who knows if they met on set.
Maybe they had a poker game backstage, who knows?
I mean, I hope so, because that sounds like more fun than the movie.
His wife in the movie, Nancy, who sees a psychiatrist, presumably that would have been played by Donald Pleasence. Had the psychiatrist been yet another thread in the movie, but no.
Obviously, yeah. We don't actually see the psychiatrist, but in my mind, it's Donald Pleasence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's played by a woman named Susan Howard, who is not related and certainly not married to Ken Howard, playing her husband, Dave Wilecki. But, it's kind of fun. That's kind of fun, right?
Either of them related to Ron?
I believe no. I believe they're not. But I guess I'll double check that while I'm editing. Susan Howard would later be on Dallas.
That makes sense. I mean, this character very much seems like it's primed to project her into a daytime or a nighttime soap.
Of course. And she was on an episode of Star Trek, the original series, The Day of the Dove, where she played the first female Klingon on the show. Huh?
That's amazing. Good for her.
That makes her the second Klingon that we see in this because, of course, as discussed previously, Michael Pataki plays a Klingon in The Trouble with Triples.
So obviously you're just mining the Klingons from Star Trek in order to make this movie. At least for the side characters.
Yeah, exactly. Since leaving acting, Susan Howard has become something of a conservative activist. She was briefly a co-host of the 700 Club. And she has been super active within the NRA.
Okay, so Goodwill, gone.
Yeah, well, you know who else was a spokesperson for the NRA who's in this film?
No, because Charlton Heston's not here, so it's got to be some. I would have named two right now. Now there's the third I need to know.
Tom Selleck.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So, womp.
I mean, the fact that he's on Blue Bloods and that show is...
Yeah, we're sensing a pattern. Also, mostly in scenes cut from the MST3K version of this movie, although we do get a glimpse of her at the end. Jane Wyatt plays Faye Bonelli, who's the owner of the Cougars, who's planning to sell them.
Oh, that seems odd. What a weird choice to sell a team that's in the Super Bowl.
Well, presumably the sale will happen after the Super Bowl, and also, presumably that's when their value is at the highest in a sense.
Sure, I guess that's when you want to sell. It's just not when you want to buy.
Well, there you go. She's willing to sell now. And like in the cutscene that we don't get to see, she's talking about how like, she's got a bad heart and she just wanted to, she's just carrying on the legacy of her husband who had owned it before he died. And he just wanted to see them go through. So please, David Janssen, will you get them to victory one time before I tap out of this? So fair enough. Perfectly fine. Jane Wyatt is best known perhaps as being the mother on Father Knows Best, which feels like a slap in the face. But
sure.
But actually, she's probably best known for being Spock's mother on
That's what they bring up in the riffs, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She plays it both on an episode of the original series and in Star Trek 4.
Nice.
Who else have we got? We've talked about Van Johnson before. He plays the agent Chip Green who needs to sign Macaulay or lose his job. He was in San Francisco International. For more hot Van Johnson facts, go to that episode, link in the show notes. He's very milquetoast in this movie, as most of the actors are.
Yeah.
His daughter, Gail, who gets drugged instead of Tom Selleck's character, is played by Robin Mattson. She had a long career in soap operas. She was in General Hospital, Santa Barbara, and All My Children, most notably, but she's been in a number of them for long periods of time. She's had a lovely career.
Good for her. I mean, honestly, soap opera is good, steady work, and you have to be amazing at memorizing things because those things, they got fast production times.
Sure. I don't know if you watched any of those soap operas in particular.
Not really. No, I mean, really, as we've mentioned before, Days of Our Lives was the one for me, but I did watch, an episode here or there. Not enough to really be able to recognize somebody, though.
Well, you might recognize her in another film that she had a very small role in because she plays a groupie in a little film called Phantom of the Paradise.
That's so amazing. Chris, you just gave me another excuse to watch Phantom of the Paradise again. I love that movie.
And it is October, so it's very appropriate.
I mean, it's appropriate at all times. There is never a time that Phantom of the Paradise is not appropriate for watching.
Let's take a look real quick at Clifton Davis, who plays PK Jackson, a retired player who's, down to do a little meddling for the money.
He's down for paying somebody to throw the game. It's his wife who wants to poison people, though.
I don't know if they're married.
Okay, fair enough. It feels like they are in the way that he's treating her, but you're right, maybe.
It's a fun little arc where, like, she's clearly sort of arm candy, and he's like, I know, I'm making this money, and that's how I pay for you, and then she gets real upset, reasonably, and he apologizes, reasonably. But then she's like, hey, I'll help you out, because I know how to drug people, and he's like, I don't know if I want to drug my friend, and she's like, it's going to be a calm drug, I know what I'm doing, and then it goes, into the wrong mouth for reasons that are not her fault. Okay, she's not to blame for this.
No, it's true. And also, like, she's drugging these people with something that doesn't go well with booze at a party where there's copious amounts of booze. This is rife for things to go wrong.
Exactly. But Tom Selleck doesn't drink, we learned, because he's a little angel boy.
Yes, it's true. He drinks ginger ale for its medicinal properties.
It's good. It helps. It helps settle your tummy. I like ginger ale.
Exactly.
Clifton Davis has done a ton of Broadway. It turns out.
Cool. What's he done on Broadway?
He's done a lot. Don't worry about that. What you should worry about is the fact that he wrote the song Never Can Say Goodbye, a hit for the Jackson 5 and I think others.
That's phenomenal. I love that song. That's a great song.
And he was one of the main actors in the sitcom Amen, starring Sherman Hemsley from The Jeffersons. He played the young new pastor who eventually marries Helmsley's daughter. This is a show that I watched every week because my family watched it every week when we were in full sitting down for primetime, yada, yada.
Really?
And I don't remember him at all in it, but I haven't gone back to Amen since the 80s or whenever it was on. So, I was a little surprised.
Yeah, fair enough. Wow. I don't remember that show.
It takes place in a church.
Sure.
It's got a gospel opener of a theme song. I mean, we watched it. I don't remember it being brilliant or anything. Clearly, I don't remember anything except that Sherman Hemsley was on it.
I don't know how I missed it. I mean, I watched TV in the 80s. And when I say I watched TV in the 80s, I like Frank Conniff TV in the 80s. You know what I mean? Like, it's shocking to me that there's a whole show that I never saw at all.
PK's girlfriend is played by Vonetta McGee. Her character's name is Sunny. She is excited to drug people, and she was in a bunch of 70s blaxploitation films.
Oh.
Though, I should say, she vocally did not like the word blaxploitation. Reasonable enough. She preferred the term black film because it's less crass.
Yeah.
It's less about the commercialism aspect of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm. One of the films that she was in was Blackula from 1972, which also has beloved Newfoundland actor Gordon Pinsent in it. So check it out.
There you go. There's your
how can it be bad at this point?
Yeah. Was she in Uptown Saturday Night?
I'll check. That wasn't on my list.
No, it wouldn't be.
She acted with Klaus Kinski at one point early in her career.
Poor woman.
No.
Okay.
She was on an episode of Amen, however.
Well, okay. Well, there you go. She got to come back together with the man who played her boyfriend, husband. It's unclear.
Yeah.
I asked about Uptown Saturday Night because there's a riff where Joel brings up Madame Zenobia's place. From Uptown Saturday Night is what he says. And it was a movie I'd never heard of. And it's Sidney Poitier directed and starred with Bill Cosby.
Yeah. And others. But those are the two leads. And I'm flabbergasted by this. And you were bringing up blaxploitation, and watching just the first 20 minutes of the movie it felt like it was in that genre of what she would call black film. Look at this film. It's Bill Cosby, Sidney Poitier, Bill Cosby, Harry Belafonte, Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor, and Rosalind Cash, who's not related to the Johnny Cash family.
Yeah, yes. It's amazing, the cast that's inside of this movie. And just, it was an interesting watch for the first 20 minutes. It was really hard to get past it. I watched the first 20 minutes of it because I'd never heard of the movie. And Madame Zenobia sounds like it's going to be a really interesting movie. But it turns out she's just a madam for a whorehouse / party gathering place. And I wanted her to be a medium, I wanted there to be seances or something. And it's fine. It's fine that there wasn't, but it was really hard to get past the Bill Cosby of it all. I cannot watch things with him in it. Like I used to when I was a kid. That's all. I'm sorry.
Fair enough.
Other things?
Were
there more familiar faces that you wanted to bring up, Chris?
Of course. We've barely
scratched the surface.
Well, I mean, we haven't even talked about arguably the star of the movie, which is, David Janssen's the star, but Donna Mills.
Oh, okay, Donna Mills.
We haven't talked about all right, let's talk about Dick Butkus first.
We don't have to. It's fine. Dick
Butkus plays Scott Henderson, who is a player. He, of course, is a player in real life. He played for the Bears. He did pretty well.
The Bears.
He's got an award named after him, the Butkus Award.
Oh my God, to win the Butkus Award is the height of all things for so many reasons.
Well, you're going to have to be an outstanding linebacker for that. And then he had a second career as an actor and a broadcaster. He was in Gremlins 2. He was in Brian's Song. He really covered the waterfront in terms of his acting career.
He really did. I am trying to remember where he is in Gremlins 2 because that movie is amazing.
If you rewatch it, you'll see him immediately. It's Dick Butkus. You know what he sounds like. He was in Miller Lite ads with Bubba Smith, who is also in this film. He's one of the first people who talks in the film. And he was also an NFL player, and he played Moses Hightower in the Police Academy films.
Fabulous.
There's other footballers who show up here.
That's how you're going to hype the Super Bowl, is if you have players in the actual movie. I mean, it's nice to have Tom Selleck and David Janssen, sure, but wow. Dick Butkus.
But let's talk about Donna Mills as Lainey Wiley, the murderer. She's fine in this.
Yeah, she's fine. In typical 70s fashion, being a hot woman, she's going to fall in love with a middle-aged man and have sex with him really early on.
Well, she doesn't fall in love. She's doing it to gain access.
Sure, I think that you're being a little cynical here. Like, it really sounds like the end of the movie, like when she's having her panic attack because of the height. She's like, save me. Wasn't there ever anything between us? Is kind of her demeanor as she's going through all of that. And maybe she's just playing a game. It's entirely possible because her whole philosophy is like, if it feels good, do it. But that's a terrible philosophy.
Yeah.
Especially when you're murdering. Does murdering feel good? Is that why you do it?
Some people do seem to enjoy it, but I'm not going to say it's for everyone by a long stretch.
No, I don't actually want it to be for everyone. I don't want it to be for everyone. Anyway.
Donna Mills had some sort of normal career roles, I guess. She plays Clint Eastwood's girlfriend in Play Misty for Me in the early 70s. Then she did what we will call a lot of made-for-TV movies around the time of Superdome. And I just want to read out some of the films she was in between 1976 and 1979.
Okay.
She was in Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby.
That sounds like a sequel.
To Rosemary's Baby? I assume it is, yeah.
Okay.
She was in Fire! With Ernest Borgnine, which obviously is another, disaster movie type thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was in Curse of the Black Widow with Tony Franciosa.
Ooh, I wonder if she got to play the Black Widow.
I wonder. She was in The Hunted Lady, which was a Quinn Martin TV movie that wanted to become a TV show but failed. Mills plays a woman on the run, which makes me think they're trying to make the Mrs. Fugitive.
Sure, yes, why not?
She was in a movie called Doctors' Private Lives, which also, I think that one actually did become a TV show, but she's not in it. And she was in a movie called Hanging by a Thread. Do you want to guess what that one's about?
It's about people who are in the shirtwaist factory in the turn of the century.
Ooh, that's really fun. But no, you got to be a little more literal. It's about a doomed cable car dangling above a ravine.
Oh my gosh. What?
It also stars Patty Duke, who was also not at a good point in her career at this point.
Fair enough. Did she have an upswing after 79 for her career? It sounds like she had a real rough 3 years, being in lots of things that didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean?
I mean, they certainly paid the bills. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, and they were things that were potentially going somewhere into regular gigs.
Sure, exactly. After that, she got a role playing Abby Cunningham on Knots Landing, a TV show that I never watched.
Nice. Well, it would have been up against Dallas. Of course you couldn't watch Knots Landing.
I didn't watch either of them. The whole late night soap thing just never made a lick of sense to me.
Fair enough. But, oh no, you didn't watch Twin Peaks. That's me. I'm projecting again.
Yes, it's true. I've just seen the movie somehow. That's a whole other story, however. There are other people, but my word, we've talked about a lot of them, and the other people are not quite as exciting. So those are some familiar faces. Now, it's been a lovely episode of just meandering through people's filmographies and whatnot and trying to make some fun connections.
And there were lots of fun connections to be had.
Sure. But, Charlotte, do you have anything like a final factoid to send us off with?
Chris, I'd like to do a couple of quick shots at some of the riffs that came up before doing my final factoid. Does that sound all right?
All right, Charlotte's own Shallow 3.
Shallow 3. There ought to be a theme song, but don't make it because I don't want to do this all the time. Anyway, the first one is about Snack Canyon.
Oh, yes. They go off about how they're going to Snack Canyon for a few minutes. It's very good. What's a Snack Canyon?
Exactly. I had no idea what Snack Canyon was, although it sounded delicious, so I wanted to find out. And so I Googled it. A video came up very quickly. It's not hard to find. The Snack Canyon was an ad that Coca-Cola came up with to sell Coca-Cola products. So, but it's a couple of penguins, a penguin family that's traveling through the desert in their car, and their car breaks down and they're really thirsty. And so a crow comes along and, magics a soda fountain machine to be able to have Coca-Cola products and a whole bunch of different candy to go with it as well, and magics their car fixed. It's a cute little commercial, but Snack Canyon is a place where you can get soda and snacks, as you might have imagined from the title.
Wow. Okay.
Second, I don't know how Tom knows about the Santa Cruz High School marching band. But there is a riff towards the end of the movie when they're gearing up for the Super Bowl starting, where they have a marching band on the field, and Tom makes a comment about the Santa Cruz High School marching band. Santa Cruz High School is from Santa Cruz, California, which is just south of where I grew up. And they apparently have an amazing marching band. We'll put a couple links in the show notes of some of their performances. I mean, if you love a high school marching band, the Santa Cruz High School marching band has been around for a super long time. And it looks like it is a major tradition for the high school that's down there. So again, I don't know how somebody in Minnesota found out about this, but amazing. Amazing to look that up, because I grew up an hour away from there and did not know how great this high school marching band was. So shout out to them.
Huh. Yeah, either he just pulled it out of his tuchus, or he has a secret band history that I don't know about. Or, I mean, I'm seeing here, 1987, they marched down Main Street, USA, Disneyland for the first time. And 1986, they performed at the World's Fair Expo 86 in Vancouver, BC, Canada.
Hey, I was there!
Did you see them there?
If I did, I don't remember it. And I think I would, because again, Santa Cruz, an hour away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
But the more robust final factoid that I wanted to bring up was about Chumley.
Okay, remind me when Chumley comes up.
So one of the people who Lainey kills inside of the movie is one of the trainers who gives drugs to all, like legal prescription drugs.
Oh, yes. That's totally a familiar face I meant to highlight, because he's actually had a hell of a career, that guy. Yes. He's played by M. Emmett Walsh, like the letter M, Emmett Walsh. And he was in a metric ton of films. Let me mention a small handful of them.
Okay.
The Jerk.
Nice.
Critters.
Nice.
Ordinary People.
Huh.
One of his biggest roles, Blade Runner.
Oh.
He plays like Deckard's boss or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Romeo plus Juliet.
I'm so sorry. I need to know that one. You can go on from there.
He plays the apothecary. It's a small role.
Okay. Fair enough.
Some of these are small roles, but he's been in such a ludicrously large number of films. Sadly, he passed away last year at the age of 88, but just a stunning career, stunning filmography.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I feel like you could have a lot of fun if you've exhausted your Donald Pleasence playlist.
Another
you
show
have a lot of
might
fun
worship him.
watching a lot of Emmett Walsh movies. But anyway, so you were saying.
Yeah, well, I bring him up because he's the trainer who's going to get killed, and as he is walking out to meet his doom, they riff saying that he has the body of Chumley. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know who Chumley was. So, of course, I went to my local Google machine and typed in Chumley. And I think they must be talking about the walrus cartoon character Chumley, who is inside of a cartoon from the 60s, which has been revived since, about Tennessee Tuxedo and his tales. Tennessee Tuxedo was a penguin, and he had a friend named Chumley who was a walrus, who was, a bit of a doofus. And of course, Tennessee Tuxedo sounds like he's voiced by the same guy who does Get Smart.
It is Don Adams, yes.
Yeah. So, of course, right? So, it's a very recognizable voice actor who is doing the voice for Tennessee Tuxedo. And being a big fat walrus, I think that's what they're referring to when they're referring to this guy as having body by Chumley the walrus.
If you've been affected by the issues on this show, if you also only get your football knowledge from John Boy's videos, or if you'd like to ask us anything, get in touch with us. Our email is info@itsjustashow, and we're on Blue Sky. We would love to hear from you. This show is made possible by listeners like you and like our randomly selected supporter, Mandrake. Thank you, Mandrake. For about $1 an episode, you too can be like Mandrake and help us research and record this show. And then you can join us on a friendly Discord, and you'll be able to listen to all our super fan bonus bits. Find out more at itsjustashow.com/Patreon or patreon.com/itsjustashow. And if you want to follow up on anything that was mentioned today, you'll find links in our show notes at itsjustashow.com/episode/183.
Well, Chris, I don't mean to brag or anything, but I am really, really ready for some football now. Perhaps there's some inside of our next episode?
You got to stop being ready for football. Football season isn't even happening yet. Or if it is, it doesn't matter until the Super Bowl, which I think is in January, maybe even sometimes in February. It's not now. What's now is Halloween. Halloween is the next episode. Get ready for some Halloween. We're going to be looking at Season 10, Episode 5, Blood Waters of Dr. Z.
All right, so this is definitely a sci-fi era that I've never seen before, and I'm going to have to get my costume for Halloween from it, so I'm excited to watch.
It's definitely got somebody in a costume, but you'll get to see that soon, and we'll get to talk about it a little after that. Until then...
Jesus was a great man, all right, but I don't want him as starting tackle.
Quit swabbing our tonsils with your tongue and get on with it. Take it away, Theme Squad.
David Janssen. I'm doing my David Janssen impersonation.